What is up?
What's up, fuckers?
We are back, and man, am I pumped for this episode, Justin. Man, am I hyped for this
Season
episode.
2, episode 3. We are here. You already know.
With very
For
special
those
guest.
for those who have been paying attention, who know, we do have a special guest tonight. Our special guest, as you know, will be Erik from Heeee Crafty.
Erik from Heeee Crafty. He wants to talk about Halloween. We're going to talk Halloween with him.
My favorite movie of all time. But before we even start all of that, we're going to get to know him first.
Yeah. Talk about some of the things he's worked on, some of the stuff that's his passion.
Yo, his props are fucking insane. So
They're fire. I'm gonna have to have him do some for me just to have like
I'm
trying to build up my horror memorabilia. Like Jason Mask this week. I got from Chandler Birchfield. Got the Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
Or not from Chandler. Chandler was the one I showed it to. I got it from Jen, Gavin's girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
They had peeked that we had a horror podcast, so I was like, Secret Santa sent that in. So we got that wolf mask from Halloween. I'm building some shit.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to hit up Erik for some specialized promo type deal that can go up in the room. Something crazy.
Well, let's go ahead and start with our sponsors.
Yeah.
Kosi with the banner. If you need a banner, hit them up. Or design made rather. Hit them up. Anything you want, he'll hit you up.
You got a baby announcement, you're getting married, you're making your mom's famous apple pie, and you want to spread the word.
Whatever you want, just go ahead and get it done.
Throw it up on a banner.
So,
let the world know. Let them know.
Who else?
Brandon Jack is who else?
Just be kicking it. Yeah.
We got Brandon Jack's got some new stuff on the way. We've seen it. We ain't gonna spoil anything. Yeah. It's crazy. We've probably shared it by now, unless Brandon is just now breaking out the release by the time this episode's out.
Who knows?
It's gonna be crazy.
It's dope. It's fucking fire.
Every time I get something from him, I'm like, how can I put this stuff together and have the most fire fit? Because obviously, if I'm hanging out with him or Vize, I'm gonna be like the third on that list for most fire fit always. So I'm just trying to compete. I'm only competing with you.
Yeah. So he's fourth because I win. And then Pawn Junkies, I got their gear on. We already here. So Volante and Megan, go give them a follow. Shout them out. Go see what they're about. Reviews.
Yep.
I am part of it. Actually,
they sell us.
I don't know if I should say it, but
no, hold it down.
Yeah. It's some news. I don't know if I should be the one to break it.
Good things coming in the future.
Yes.
Some ideas are churning. Justin's out there just wheeling and dealing, got things moving.
Yeah.
Just like that. I've never seen him do that before.
We are so excited. Actually, now that we said it, we're going to go ahead and bring in Erik from Heeee Crafty. For those that don't know, this dude's fucking amazing. He builds his own props. He does a whole bunch of shit. You should see his his house. His house is fucking dope. His Halloween decorations are fucking insane. He's got all kinds of shit just done. I heard of him through Volante and Megan, through Pawn Junkies, and his shit is, it's real top notch, top quality stuff, man. I'm for real. So
Erik, welcome.
Welcome, man.
Hey, what's up? Hello. How's it going?
Hey, we're doing well. How about you?
I'm not too bad. I can't complain. I cannot complain.
So you work the night shift, right? So we have about an hour with you, maybe, if that.
A little bit over an hour. Okay. Yeah, I work the night shift from home. Yes, yeah. Always entertaining. Yeah. And you don't just sit there and eat half the fridge.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. You probably could eat it. Look how swole you are, bro. So,
yeah, man, I sit there and just eat a whole bag of peanuts at night, man. It's so boring at points, but that's when I catch up on everybody's podcast, man. Once I hit 2 a.m., the shit slows down so bad. That's when I listen to everyone's podcast. I catch up on everybody, so it works for that.
Right, that's how I've been working from home. Like, snacks are literally a walk away. I'm an Oreo and Cheeto guy, so I just pound through a whole thing of Oreos in a sitting.
Yeah, dude, it's tough, man. It's just like you're sitting there. The fridge is right behind my desk, where I have my desk set up, man. So you're just all night long. You're like, man, I'm freaking bored. You know what I mean? So I just pop up there. You just keep eating. So yeah, it's the struggle is real, everyone. The struggle is real.
First world problems, right?
Right. Right.
Food is too
Shit.
accessible right
I
now.
know. Jesus Christ. Dude, we're very happy to have you on, man. I'm excited. Thank you. Seriously, thank you for being on.
No, dude, I'm super excited to be on. Thanks for having me on, man. I really appreciate it, dude.
You got some dope shit, and we want to get to know more about you. So we're gonna ask you a bunch of questions, and then we'll get into both of our favorite movies.
Got it.
You know, Halloween.
Like we're gonna want to talk about all this stuff. Like what's crazy is Volante obviously referred you to us when we were getting started, and we're still in the beginning stages. So we can't thank you enough for all the support you've given us already. And so it was like bringing everything full circle. And season 2 is the season of guests for us. Like we're really trying to bring all the horror community on and have them as much as possible on our episodes.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. Like that's what everything is about, is support. You guys do cool shit, man. The bracket challenge, dude, the trash talk between people. I just think it's sweet, man. It brings people together and everybody can
like the shit talk between these people is like, even though people are talking shit, it's still all love.
It is, yeah. You just gotta rep your movie. You represent your movie. You're like, look at Jaws. I told you guys, I love Spielberg. I like Jurassic Park, but Spielberg Jurassic Park and Spielberg Jaws, that's 2 different levels for me, man.
Yeah, 100%. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, but as you know, we gotta chug our beers first.
That's right. I'm ready, dude. I'm ready for this shit.
Eric, you told us already, but can you tell everybody what you're sipping on tonight?
Yeah, what are you sipping on tonight, bro?
So here in Michigan, obviously we're known for making cars, shitty sports teams, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, and our fine selection of beer, which I'll be a classic here. Ghetto Blaster, baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motor City Brewing.
That looks dope.
I'm gonna, just so everyone knows I'm not faking, let's just open it. Oh yeah, I got some on the laptop. Pay for that later.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to go, gentlemen.
All right, brother.
Bro, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, bro. Oof.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That feels good. I think yours was a little heavier than ours. We always do Dos Equis. Shout out Dos Equis.
We've got Dos Equis, your sponsor, Triple X, man. That's Triple X beer right there.
Shit, they need to fucking. I wish when we get more followers, hopefully we'll get a sponsorship from them, man. We'll see. We'll see.
Awesome.
But we're gonna go ahead and get
let us pop our casuals.
Yeah, we're just gonna do our casual ones.
Because it wouldn't be a discussion if we didn't have a casual brew to have with you and chop it up,
Yeah.
Well, don't worry, because I've got mine too.
Let's go.
This one, see? Here's the empty.
There you go. And so everyone knows he's legit doing it. I know Heather chugged one with us when she was on also.
Yep.
We have one of our good buddies doesn't drink beer, and we weren't going to let him chug absolute vodka like he wanted to.
Oh, shit.
So he chugged a bottle of water, which was cool too. Steve Merlot with the Sawyer Mascots coming up chugged some water with us too. So
yep, I saw the Heather and the Steve Merlot. I saw them chugging away.
Yeah, it was awesome, man.
When Volante and Megan hop on, they're for sure going to be chugging some beer with me.
Yeah.
Nice.
I will make them.
I noticed the fellas at New England Horror, they have their podcast. I was talking to one of them the other day. They have an Instagram page. They were doing tequila shots before their episode, so I caught that when I was catching up on their podcast. And I was like, that's awesome. And they were doing them throughout. And I was like, I wouldn't be able to talk. Justin's a big tequila shot guy, but I wouldn't.
I love it.
Right.
My favorite liquor, man. I like a big margarita guy. I like, to be specific, the tequila. I don't like gold tequila. It sounds weird. I only like silver. El Jimador. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's his go-to.
That's my go-to. He used to keep one bottle in his apartment for me at one point.
I don't drink tequila, so I just would keep it when Justin came over.
Yeah. So
I used to roll with tequila back in the day too, so I know all about it. So we used to do the TNT, which was kind of gross now because it's the tequila and tomato juice.
Ooh.
And it was disgusting now that I think about it. But I don't know. We're in Vegas, dude.
Yeah, you're sipping on whatever you can sip on.
Right.
I don't even like tomato juice.
I know.
That's gross.
Now that I think about it, I'm like, why did we ever do it? But whatever.
Yeah. So with that said, why don't you tell us a little bit more just about Erik? Not like, about you. You're from Detroit. I know you're a Lions fan. I'm a Jets fan, and that's fucking crazy. So, but
Yeah, we want to know about you, like and expand into like some of the content you do and how you got into some of this stuff.
yeah.
All right. Well, for me, like I've always been into filmmaking. Like I've always been into horror movies and just filmmaking in general. That was like I had made like really crappy little movies with my friends back in the day. We're talking about like 1999 and stuff. I mean, just get your friends together and make movies and stuff. But I always got into horror movies and everything. And then like for a long time, I just kind of life happened, and then now I just I really got into decorating my house for Halloween because of my kid got into it. You know what I mean? So I did it one year. He thought it was cool. And then it just expanded from there. And then, you start seeing all the stuff, you start doing all your own shit. And then like, for me, it just seemed like a natural progression to make these videos that I make. You know what I mean? I try to make them as cinematic as possible, as entertaining as possible and everything. And that, I just like, maybe making stuff for Halloween, and I'm like, oh dude, I could do this friggin', you know what I mean? Like I always wanted to be like, hey, let's we need to make a Pamela Voorhees head and make mom jokes to Jason, you know what I mean? I'm like, it's like the perfect thing to do, so I just started making these videos, and I just had like, for me, I just kind of want to do entertaining videos as well as like DIY videos. I do like the DIY videos like that people put out. People are super talented with the stuff, but they tend to drag on and be kind of boring. So I kind of want mine to be, I try to get mine to be not as long and then entertaining as well. So that's where I'm at right now. But it really all started back with just wanting to be, a director, a filmmaker. So it just starts from there, and it just kind of like, it led to this point. So
Nice. Yeah, so like I saw, obviously the latest one is the Pamela Voorhees head that you did. That's awesome. I like what you're saying, where like you highlight the process a little bit, but you don't have to watch someone over an hour of doing it themselves and telling them how to do it. So what are some of the other unique projects you've worked on, like whether it be just Halloween decorations around your house, some stuff you've done with your kid, just anything like that?
Well, just like all these like one of the cooler things I think I've done is like there's this wall of skulls, you know what I mean? And I made a video with it, and it was with Blake from Pacific Mold, and it's a cool video, you know what I mean? And like I got his mold. I ordered his mold, and he was really cool about it because I fucked up and I ordered the wrong thing. And I emailed him, and he was cool enough to switch out the order and everything. So from there, I just started talking to him or whatever. But I did a video where I'm like interviewing him, and then like I go ahead and build this wall. It just is like I have these things on my my garage, like it's just to make it look like a big like wall of skulls that lights up or whatever, and some of those. And there was just, I've always had like ideas on certain things that I wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like we had that one where it's like, it's a Karate Kid ripoff, but that's just something I'm always like, I was like, it'd be fucking hilarious, dude, to just, somebody's like Miyagi and somebody's like the dick from Cobra Kai. And it's just
I haven't seen an episode of Cobra Kai. I've had auditions for it, but
oh really?
But I haven't seen it. So
It's good.
is it? You like it? Yeah.
It's what I think is cool about Cobra Kai is the role reversal. You know what I mean? Because like, well, now it's kind of coming around, but the role reversal at first is like you're feeling for Johnny. You know what I mean? Like Johnny's like the main character of the show, and fucking Daniel LaRusso is kind of a douche at the beginning.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's just like, it's really, I like the way they did that. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, dude,
that's dope.
Check it out when you get a chance.
It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I can probably get that. I mean,
watch it.
Right. I'll do that right now. I'm actually on a Sopranos kick.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's crazy. I fucking it's. We've been watching it for the past 2-3 weeks, whatever. I was telling Nana, I was like, Be, I think it'd be cool if I was Italian, I would definitely join the mafia. It'd be like I would do it.
Right.
Like no questions asked. Like I would want to be in the mafia
because you like shady shit and fighting, so it's like perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in there, dude.
Like money, so it's all three. Like it's just perfect. You know what I mean? So I love that. So you started doing. What made you start doing props? How'd you get into that?
That all came about with just like, decorating for Halloween.
The house.
Yeah, but now it's evolved into like, wanting to do like, shout outs to like certain horror movies and like things like that. Like I'm real big fan of John Carpenter, right? A real big fan of The Thing. And I made this life-size prop of the poster, pretty much, the guy that the whole alien with the light up friggin' head on the poster. So I got a life-size prop of that I made, but now it's just kind of like, and now like for this year, what we'll call season 2 of He's Crafty, my theme for Halloween decorating this year is 80s horror. So I'm going like kind of an 80s horror route. I've got some other stuff in there I want to do, you know what I mean? Like not all 80s props, but definitely like starting out with Pamela Voorhees' head. That's what I count as episode 1 of season 2, so I've got a lot of 80s horror shit I want to do.
That sounds seriously though. That's dope. Last year there was a haunt. This past year. Sorry, right? So, because we're still very early into 2021, they had there was a haunt that it was 80s themed.
Yeah, and that's funny. I think Volante sent me over the flyer for it. He's like, check this shit out, man. Because I was talking to him about it, about wanting to do 80s horror themed, decorations for my house, and
yeah,
he sent me over the flyer. He's like, check this shit out.
Yeah. And it turned out to be like a pretty good haunt. Which is not bad. So that's awesome. I can't wait to see how that turns out.
Do you have some other stuff with The Thing planned than just the poster for the 80s?
So I do want to do the spider head prop.
Yep.
I've got a really my friend Tom, he's the guy that's in the video with me and stuff or whatever, so we've been doing like all these videos together or whatever. We have a really, really funny idea for this spider head prop video. So hopefully, it comes to fruition, but it would involve the Lionel Richie Hello video. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's fucking super creepy.
Definitely have. Definitely have.
So it would involve that. So that's like the Thing inspired prop that I have for this is doing that.
That's awesome. I was thinking about because obviously the one in the 80s utilized practical effects so much. So and obviously in the newer one, they had some practical effects like underlying tones, but they laid CGI over the top of it. So
right,
the 80s one way better from a effect standpoint, and we talk about practical effects a good bit on all our episodes. So we're pumped to see that because there's so many good things that just came from that movie, just from the props they were doing.
Yeah, I've seen somebody do a build of it. So, I did a segment on He's Crafty before called You Down with OPP, and that's other people's props, where I find other people's props and then just try to do them myself, and I give them shout outs, so, but I saw somebody do that prop and it looked really dope. So I'm going to try to recreate it as best as I can, set to the Lionel Richie Hello video.
Yes, that's going to be amazing.
I'm sure you'll probably have a little MJ involved in there, right? Little Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, right. So, question though. So, Halloween was 78.
Right.
That's only 2 years away. You got to include that in there?
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, not all of them will be I think my next video that I'm doing. So the 2018 Halloween, the prop of the dude where apparently it's not shown on screen, but Michael decides to carve the dude's head into a pumpkin. It's just chilling in that dude's other cop's lap. So I want to do that prop. So, but for this episode, I'll bounce all over, but for that episode, I want to do a flip or flop rip off called Prop or Flop. So I'm going to do it just kind of like one of those episodes from HGTV, but we'll see. But like I said, I'm going to jump around with stuff. I would do, obviously, most of the Halloween movies, well, most of them were in the 80s, not the original, which is the dope one, not the original. Halloween 2 though, I loves me some Halloween 2, man. With
Yeah, I mean, me too.
With his whole synth version of the theme.
Yeah,
So
I do like that. It's crazy that this dude just refuses to die. But what I'm curious, what made you like fall in love with like horror?
I think, man, I was just from like so just from my younger days, dude, we were just like we would hang out and okay, so I think the first horror movie I ever saw was The Exorcist, was scared the shit out of me, right? So I don't even think I watched the whole thing back then, dude. I got to the part where it's like scratching on the fucking ceiling and her bed shakes, and I'm like, yo, I'm out, bro. So it didn't last that long. But then as you know, as you're growing up, we used to check this book out of the library called The Zombies That Ate Pittsburgh, which was a whole book about George A. Romero making Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead. We checked that freaking thing out of the library so many times, dude. We were like obsessed with this book, you know what I mean? And we're just like, we gotta score ourselves a copy, you know what I mean, of one of these movies, you know. And that's from there, like it just kind of grew from there, you know what I mean? And like me and my friend used to just always like collect Fangoria and shit, dude. We were just so into horror movies and stuff, and it was just, you know, it was just a genre we were really cool with. But I think it started out with like, yo, we're checking out this book from the library, man, and look at there's this picture of this dude's head blowing off. Like, we shouldn't be seeing it, you know what I mean? And then we just had to score ourselves a copy of the movie, you know? And then it just grew from there, man. You just start to love them all. And like, I mean, you watch people like, you know, like at the time, you know, like Freddy. It was like Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which is where I think, you know, Dream Warriors is where Freddy started to become Freddy. You know what I mean? Where he kind of started to develop his personality and shit. And he was like, yeah, welcome to prime time, bitch. Which is a prop I want to attempt to do also, is the welcome to prime time, bitch prop. So
the unpopular opinion, I actually don't like The Exorcist. It's crazy.
That's cool. I mean, it's to each their own. I mean, they just scared the shit out of me.
Well, it was, so we were going through maybe a few weeks back. It was, I rewatched it mainly because
Probably for the bracket.
Yeah.
And I remember the first, I don't particularly remember the first time I watched it, but I remember feeling that I liked it. So I rewatched it at home, like now, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm going through and I'm watching. An hour goes by and I'm like, what the fuck is so scary about this? Nothing, this is so boring. Nothing is happening for an hour. I shit you not, an hour of this movie. Nothing is happening for me. And I think I texted him and I was like, yo, this
I was like, you just gotta wait, bro. You just gotta
this
wait.
just sucks. You wait. I mean, like, and I think to me, like, obviously, like the last maybe 30, 45 minutes of the movie is like, that's where like all the climactic stuff happens, right? And which I understand, which is cool, but I think it took me out of it because it took so long to get to that point.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, and that's cool. And that's what I think is really cool about movies, is like you can develop an opinion of a movie like that you saw a long time ago, but you know, does it stand the test of time when you go back and revisit it? And like, that's why I love Jaws, dude. I chew the fuck out of Jaws, man. Every scene in that movie, I'm just like, dude, this movie is awesome. And for me, what makes it even more awesome is like when you watch that behind the scenes shit and you know what like Spielberg went through to get that thing made, you know what I mean? And it's just like, and it really, I think, you know, like with the shark malfunctioning and shit, I think it just added to the movie. You like more of the suspense when you don't see the fucking shark every 2 seconds jumping out of the water. You know what I mean? They save it all for the end.
I love when like movies like that. It's like unintentional restraints, right? Like, so they have a lot less shots to work with because the shark's not malfunctioning. And then something comes out good and they're like, we're going to stick with this. I saw a lot of people talking about Halloween towards the end. On a budget restraint, like how Michael falls over the banister. It's like a stunt move, but people are like, yeah, because it was a $300,000 budget and they only could shoot this so many times with the blanks they were shooting. We couldn't keep filming it, so
Yeah.
it's crazy stuff like that happens. And then like if you're being really nitpicky, you go in and be like, oh, but then it also has like its own charm to it.
Yeah, oh, totally, dude. And that's why Halloween, dude, for me, really just the whole style and feel of it, definitely like a big influence on like what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? It's just like, dude, that movie, it just, I mean, if you go back and look at it now, dude, and you're just kind of like, all right, man, like by today's standards, obviously there's like no blood in it. You know what I mean? But
Right.
it's just a good movie. And when you think about like Carpenter shoots it on nothing, you know what I mean? It was like the biggest independent film for its time or whatever. It's just an awesome movie that set the tone for all the other slasher flicks that came after it. You know what I mean? So
Right. I'm so glad you said that too, because like he kills 5 people in that film, and they're not bloody kills.
right.
They're not bloody kills at all, and it focuses on atmosphere and suspense, which you see a lot more in today's era. That's why I think it stands up so well.
I'm getting the charger real quick.
Yeah, Justin can grab the charger real quick. But I think it stands up so well with everything that's being made today, because people are like, let's focus on atmosphere, let's focus on suspense, and then the 1 or 2 big shock moments you have are because everything else is so built up.
Yeah. No, and what I've always thought too, and it's just like people will do the stuff today. Like I've always like, shit to me would be more scary during the day. You expect scary shit at night. So then when you have these movies that are like just crazy shit going on during the day, I think to me it's even more creepy. I actually think that it's even more creepy when a movie does shit. A horror movie will do shit during the day without a score. So there's no music to it. You know what I mean? There's nothing cueing you in on what kind of crazy shit is going to go on. It just happens. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, so like one that comes to mind is like, and I know this is more new era also, but like Insidious. I always felt comfortable, like, well, Paranormal Activity even, you feel comfortable in the daytime. So Paranormal Activity 2 got me in the daytime when the sister was sitting in the kitchen and all the everything just popped. And that's one of my dad's favorite moments. Every time we talk about Paranormal Activity, he's like, that one scene, because we're sitting there, you're kind of relaxed because you're like, they're just having conversation, and then this shit just pops off, and next thing I know, I shit my pants from it.
And because it's in the daytime, I think it makes it even creepier because, like you said, you feel safe during the day. But then when they pull you out of that comfort zone, and you're in the day, and there's no music on top of it, and then shit just happens, you're just gonna. To me, that's what I think is super freaky. You know what I mean? So
like Midsummer was really like uncomfortable watching to me because that movie is like all bright colors, all daylight, and there's few scenes at night where I'm like, if this shit's happening during the day, I don't even want to see what's happening at night.
Exactly. That's just a nice tone that's set by that. You know, I think it's pretty awesome.
That's actually a great segue, man. That's into Halloween, you know?
Yeah.
So, which is that movie we were wanting to talk about today, which is my favorite, your favorite. Halloween is actually the very first horror movie that I watched when I was younger. I think I was 6, if I remember. I was living in Bayonne, New Jersey, in a two-bedroom apartment. Happened to have the VHS of it. I put it in randomly. I didn't know what it was because I think we just had a bunch of VHSs, and I was fucking around as a kid, and I put it in. And me as a child, what drew me in was not because it was scary, but the tits at the beginning of Michael's sister.
Yeah.
I was a kid and I was like, this is cool. I'm gonna keep watching the rest of this. Maybe I'll see more boobs. That's
well, you do. I mean, you get that. You get the payoff.
So, and I was like, I'm just, I'm like 6 years old trying to hunt for some. Some boobs.
He's like, I don't even care if this is a horror movie. This could be a horror movie, a comedy, rom-com, whatever. As long as there's some of that in there, I'm good with it.
Right. As long as females don't have shirts on, I'm in.
Yeah.
So we know Justin loves Halloween for the boobs. We want to know what you love Halloween for, and like what really, like, you talked about score a little bit. So we just want to hear some of your thoughts on why you love that movie so much.
Yeah.
So, all right. So for me, like I said, Exorcist was probably the first horror movie I watched, and I didn't watch the whole thing. Move forward to so I start watching we had like local TV 50 and they had the chiller thriller double feature on Saturdays where I saw Halloween and Halloween 2 like a shitload, man. They would like play them like back to back, right?
Mhm.
And for me, man, it just that was it. It just set this whole tone for me. Like Halloween has always been my favorite holiday, right? So then on top of that, it was always like watching Halloween around Halloween and the tone that it just the tone that the whole movie sets where it's just, you know what I mean? It's just really, like you said, he doesn't die. He doesn't talk. You know what I mean? It's just uncomfortable the whole time. And it's just a feel. And I really love like when we did like our stupid little horror movies that me and my friends made, we did like the killer cam, which was the Michael Myers point of view. That whole thing, that was a big influence, man. Just the way, you know, you get the whole point of view from him walking around the mask or, you know, at the beginning or whatever, you know, so just the whole thing. And then when you go on and you start to like, that's when you're younger and you're watching it and it's just like, you're watching it over and over, which like Halloween 2, by the way, for the longest time, like I thought it was a totally different ending and shit because I'm getting the edited for TV ending and shit. And I'm like, then when I finally like watched the unedited version, I was always like, what the hell is this, man? This didn't happen. So there's like two different versions of the movie or whatever.
How different? Well, I didn't know that. How different is the edited version versus the unedited version? Like,
well, you know the one nurse that Mrs. Alves, where like he just sticks like the freaking IV in her arm and her blood just drips. And Jimmy slips on her blood and gets a concussion. That's pretty much how he's out of commission. She's not even in it at all. You never see how she dies. And then what they do is they intercut the end when Loomis blows up the hospital. They show Jimmy falling and hitting his head. So you just think that from the explosion he fell.
that's how he died.
Yeah, that's what. Well, he didn't even die because at the end in the TV one he just sits up and is like, oh. So like there was just a bunch of different. There was kills like the nurse and the doctor, you know, the doctor that had the syringe in his eye and then he walks up and sticks it in her head. That was totally out of there. So I never knew, like, you don't know how half these people die, you know, and then you watch the unedited version and you're like, holy shit, this thing is different. So
because Halloween 2 ramped up the violence a good bit. So like, I mean, especially back then when things were getting heavily edited, like you cut off the balls of that whole movie. Like
yeah, yeah, it totally did, dude. It's a totally different movie. And like, you know, it did ramp up the violence, but I mean, at that point it had to keep up, you know what I mean? From there, like, you know, that came out like around the same time as Friday the 13th part 2. Mm-hmm. So I think Friday the 13th set the precedent for the harder core slasher film at the time, you know what I mean? And then Halloween 2, I mean, it had to hold its ground with it. So I think that's why it ramped it up a little bit, you know, but
that's crazy. Like that the TV version is it kind of takes away from like the whole ending, the two different versions. It's way different. It seems like
it's crazy. It's totally different. But I mean, the Halloween, the original for TV, there's a TV version and it adds shit in. There's deleted scenes and shit that they went back and reshot for the TV version of Halloween. So there's like a whole different version you can watch. It has some different scenes. It has like Loomis talking more about Michael Myers and everything, you know. So, you know, I mean, is it game changing in the whole aspect of the movie? No, not really. It just adds to it, you know. There's just some different scenes, but
it's like I definitely agree with you as far as like tone setting. John Carpenter and Michael Myers just set a new standard for horror films. You know what I mean? That was what 78, 43 years ago. Yeah. 53, like, you know what I mean? That's for that time. That is, and the quality for that movie still stands in to this moment. February 22nd, 2021 is like it's still just as good as it was
right
in 1978.
The other thing that always for me too was Carpenter's score. And you talk about a stripped down bare bones score for a movie. It's that, and it just adds to the movie so much. It just fits so well with the way the movie's shot and just like its overall tone. And you know, I mean, for how, like you said, there's 5 kills, no blood, it's the less is more thing. You know what I mean? And the score is just perfect, dude. It's like one piano, like dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. And it's just like it's awesome. So,
And he doesn't say anything.
Yeah,
which is the crazier part. Like he doesn't say one word in that movie. In any of his movies.
Yeah.
So, but
he makes groans, and like that's the most you get out of
it. That's all you get.
And it's insane that you like. It's not insane. I love that you say how big, like how important a score is for you.
Yeah.
Because a score in any movie, not just this, but this is like for Halloween. The score in Halloween is absolutely just incredible. But it's such a big difference maker.
Yeah.
In like seriously, like when I remember back in 2017 hearing the Halloween theme again
for a trailer.
Just for a trailer.
Yeah.
Gave me chills.
Yeah.
Oh,
we were pumped talking about it. We were like, we get to experience that theme song in theaters, which was my biggest thing. I was like, I want to experience this in theaters, and like it's just going to be a crazy experience. But just to second what Justin and you were saying on the score, like not only the main theme, but you have so many shots where it's panning over and it's quiet and it's someone that Michael is stalking down, and you just get like the sharp sounds that John Carpenter will shoot out there, and it elevates the scene. Even if it's just him in the background, like he may not do anything, but it's him passing in the background, or John Carpenter using that sound to emphasize a blurred shot that's out of focus that you see Michael in, or him coming out of the darkness at the end. Like there's just so many good moments.
I'm looking up who wrote the score because that's
it was Carpenter. John Carpenter did it
himself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. That's what's so awesome about that movie is like he was just like, we got only X amount of dollars. I'm gonna do the score. And that's what is awesome. And like it's like him, you know what I mean? He's probably all just chilling out, dude. He's just like
did he even know how to play the piano?
Oh yeah, he's a musician.
Oh,
also. Yeah, which is cool. And so Halloween 4, right?
Yeah,
it holds a special place in my heart because I remember it came out on my birthday, right? So I was
Resurrection.
That was the return of Michael Myers.
Return, that's right. Yeah.
So I was like super hyped to go see this shit, right? So it comes out on my birthday, right? So I go check this shit out. And what's super cool about that is like right away they don't just bust out the Halloween theme. You know what I mean? They build it up a little bit, and then all of a sudden they go to start transporting them, and it's like, it's just like it hits. And when it hits, man, you're just like, yeah. But not to say that it's the greatest film ever, but I mean that opening part when the theme just hits, it's awesome.
There's nothing like. I mean, nothing like it.
Right.
I can't think of any horror movie that has that kind of like.
Jaws would be the only one I would put up in the same category.
Right, with the most recognizable theme, I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you don't get a you don't know it's a Friday the 13th theme, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's like a situational sound too. That's not as important as like a main movie theme. But like
exactly.
So you still get to notice that Jason's around because of that. And I was actually super pumped, obviously, like the new Halloween movie in 2018, like Carpenter had to have a hand in it. And they were like, look, we want you to come back and do the soundtrack and score for that because it just wouldn't be a Halloween movie without it.
Right. And I think it's Carpenter and his son. His son's doing music now too. So I think they both did the score for the 2018 one.
That's incredible.
Did you know, just a random fact, but did you know that the script for Halloween, it took them less than 2 weeks to write that?
Yeah, I think it was like called The Babysitter Murders. It was what originally.
Yeah, like, and it turned out to be like one of the greatest. And we were just talking about this in for the bracket, right? It's like of all of the slashers, it's crazy that Friday the 13th is the one to make it to the finals.
Right. Yeah. And I enjoy my Friday the 13th movie.
I like them. I love, and one of his favorites, like Part 7.
Part 7. I know. I saw your top ones, and
it falls
Part 7 was awesome, dude. Dude, talk about like, and Part 7 was originally supposed to be Freddy versus Jason, and they just couldn't agree to get the characters together.
I thought it was Carrie.
It was Freddy. I think
Eric's right. So what he's saying is like Freddy versus Jason sat in development hell for like years. So you have I think is it Jason Goes to Hell where they finally put Freddy's hand to pull the mask down into the dirt, and then that still sat there for like 10 more years, or maybe not that long, but a long time after that. But I always tell Justin, I'm like, I know, like part 7, they wrote the script and they were like, we're gonna do like a Carrie versus Jason type deal, and like, I wish they would have got Freddy versus Jason back then, because like 2009 was cool because they expanded on the metal music and they still captured like Jason and Freddy in that. But like part 7, I holds a special place in my heart, kind of like how part 4 does for Halloween, probably for you.
Oh yeah, it's those movies, man, and for that one too. Like I said, I think I was really curious at the time if they made Freddy versus Jason at that time when it was part 7, The New Blood. But I think it was awesome that they didn't, because like, you know, her whole psychic abilities and she just fucking Jason up at points, man. I'm just like, it's a cool direction to take that franchise. And you're talking about it's a 7th installment, dude. So it's like, it's cool to take it somewhere like that, you know?
Right. It was so different. And that's what I loved about it. Like you got a different, like you had zombie Jason in part 6, and then the mask comes off in part 7, and you have his spine exposed and everything. And like, crazy in part 7. And they went balls to the wall with like the telepathic powers and everything, almost to the point like part 8 in Manhattan. I wish they would have actually had Jason like chopping people down in Times Square. You get one shot of Jason in Times Square and it's on a boat the rest of the movie. So I'm like, at least part 7 said what we're going to do and went for it.
Yeah. Although he does, when he's going through the subway, he just totally obliterates that girl that's standing
for no reason. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
but back to Halloween, one thing I wanted to mention was like you talked about the POV shots, and like that was, I don't even think that's used enough nowadays. Like I think that's so important. Like that was such a cool stalker feel. Like people felt uncomfortable because they'd be in their house and they'd be like, okay, what is the perception of someone else looking into my house? Like it's a long pan, one shot that Carpenter used, and POV shots, which underrated.
He did it a lot, and I don't, like, seriously, we don't get that enough now. You know, I think it makes for a more creepy part of a movie when you see that.
Yeah, and because I mean, it puts you in the eyes of the killer. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, you're used to like sitting there, like you're focused on you know, whoever it is, and then you're just waiting for them to die. Whereas this, you know, I mean, you weren't like used to being in looking through the killer's eyes at what the hell he's doing. You know, it rolls up on his sister, and you know, she's brushing her hair without a top on.
Right.
And he just goes whack on her. You know, so
all the stuff Justin loves, the topless stuff. But like you get exactly that. You get the POV shot of the killer, and then they'll like flash back to who's actually in the situation that he's watching, and then flash back to the killer, and then like go back, and you're just like, it keeps you on edge.
For sure.
Not a formula that you're anticipating something. You're like, I knew it was going to happen here. You're anticipating Michael to come out of like a dark space, and in one scene, I know one of the babysitters was in the house by herself, and he's circled the house and everything, pops up, and just he comes from a different spot than what you would expect, and that's what's the small trick that John Carpenter does.
Yeah, and that's just those. It's just an awesome movie. The whole ghost, the whole part where he's dressed up as her boyfriend with the sheet on and his glasses.
Oh
yes, that's hilarious. He goes down to grab a beer and comes back, and like Michael comes back.
Yeah, he just comes. He has no fucks to give.
Right, and he's just standing there the whole time, dude, and not a sound or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just an awesome movie, man.
Does Michael does he work out?
I don't know, man. He's
he's so strong.
Is he as strong as
like? Oh yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, he'll fuck me up.
I don't think he's as strong as you, bro. No way. No way.
He'll fuck me up, man. He'll put me up against the wall and slam a knife through me, dude.
That scene though is what's so appreciative to me about that scene is not only I have my quirk with the knife. Obviously, doesn't really go too far to the person, hang them up on a wall, but that's one thing. But like the fact he does it, that scene lingers a little bit. You get some sound effects, and then he like just tilts his head and looks. I'm like, that just defines what Michael is. Michael's like just like this inevitable force of death. That's like, it's just going to happen, and he's not doing it for any reason. And that's what made him so, like, there wasn't backstory to him, except that he was at a psych ward, and that's what made him so scary.
Right, and then he, like, snapped when he was a kid, and, like, that whole where he tilts his head, it's almost like this kind of, like, child innocence at looking at like some dude hanging on a wall. So it's really just you're like, wow, this dude is fucked up.
Didn't Loomis say that he still had a mind of a child?
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's like, and I want to know like what, because it's never explained. But what made him go crazy, as a young kid?
I love that they don't explain it.
Yeah, they never say, and that's a thing that I think is really the thing about Michael Myers, man, is like there's no explanation for him, man. He's just coming.
Yeah.
You don't know why.
Yeah.
Right. He's just coming. He's not running. He's just steadily strutting after your ass, and you know what I mean? He's coming for you.
One second he's there, the next second he's gone. It was like when he was following
He was coming across the street.
And like she turns around and she's like, "Did you see that?" And the girl's like, "No, you're crazy. I didn't see anything. You're acting up." Like, as when they're walking down, when she's coming back, when they're both coming back from school or whatever.
Oh yeah, that part.
Yeah.
He's just sick. He's just sitting there, like peeked out of the bushes and shit.
Yeah.
Those scenes, and like when the kid is like hiding from the girl or whatever, and then he looks out and he just sees him standing there, like pretty much staring at their house and shit. Just a silhouette of Michael Myers standing there or whatever. You know what I mean? And he just gets all freaked out. It's just awesome.
It's insane how great of a movie this is.
I do love that it set the standard for like kind of, because you have Jamie Lee as Laurie, like you have Jamie Lee starting to see all these bodies that are dead towards the end, like walking around. You have the gravestone. It's kind of set that precedent where like in one of the third acts, like start finding dead bodies everywhere. And a lot of horror movies do that.
Right. Yeah. Like Friday the 13th. Like at the end when she's just running around and everywhere she goes, there's another dead person.
Friday the 13th openly admits that it came off the heels of Halloween, but like it uses the POV shot, it uses that, and then it uses it like you almost every time you watch Friday the 13th film, you are waiting for the scramble of dead bodies that you were just going to find.
Yeah, when she's going to run in and everybody's just going to drop down and be, have a knife through their face. You're just waiting for it.
I think, the budget for this movie was so low too.
Oh yeah.
325, I think, right? So
it grossed like 45 million.
Yeah.
And for the budget to be, I guess for back then, for 78, that's still a lot of money, right? Which would what would that amount to?
It's not
now?
like a big studio amount, but it's more than what you expect
for what they had. It's funny, like it's almost kind of luck, right? You kind of hit like the jackpot sometimes when you do something. Like even with that low of a budget, it ended up being arguably the best slasher of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like, I think that can even be said for Jaws, which obviously Jaws was a bigger budgeted movie, but the fact that shit went wrong added to the greatness of Jaws, and the fact that this had such a smaller budget, I think just added to its appeal, and I mean, it's just its whole tone. It's not like, you can sit there and just like chopping people up and shit. You know what I mean? You don't have the budget to do that or whatever, so it's just really scary.
I love that, especially when because when accidents happen, sometimes it makes for the best part of a movie. And I don't mean that just in when the shark's not working. I mean that in sometimes like when actors say lines that they don't mean, and they're in the middle of a scene. Like a lot of times it's a lot of those when you watch movies or TV shows, it's improv or they say something on accident, and then all of a sudden, the director behind the camera is just, is like, oh wow, that worked.
Oh yeah, I believe in shit, man. I totally think that anytime somebody can improvise or ad lib, you know what I mean? They're in the character.
Yeah.
So I think they feel the character more, you know what I mean? So they kind of like, well, if you just ad lib something and you think, hey, this is what I think this character would say, I think in Jaws, the "we're gonna need a bigger boat" was improv by Roy Scheider. Oh, yeah. That wasn't in the script. He just said it. Yeah. It's one of the best lines of the whole fucking movie, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like it's just stuff like Robert Shaw was drunk at the end, during the scene where they're all drinking in there. It's stuff like that, and just like Halloween not having a big budget, and you know what I mean. Even his mask because they didn't have a big budget, they had to get like a fucking Captain Kirk mask and
Oh yeah.
paint it white.
Isn't it like William Shatner or something?
Yeah, it's William
Yeah.
Shatner mask, dude. They had to paint the shit white, so it just adds to all of it. You know what I mean? It's just like strip it down. Then what can I do at its root to make it super fucking scary and creepy? And you know what I mean? The score just adds to it. You know what I mean? I'm sure Carpenter like, well, fuck, we can't hire anybody to compose this shit. I'll just do it myself. You know what I mean? Just goes back in, gets his guitar, his piano. You know what I mean? Just you know, like, it's awesome, dude. And then what happens? You make history, dude. So it's just awesome.
Like the final act with the low budget, that all is in a stairwell and a room.
Yeah, right.
Perfect.
The closet scene, just awesome, dude.
Just using a closet and a bedroom and a balcony, and that's what you end up getting. And the iconic, like all you have to do is, hey, you're gonna be there for a sec, and then when we look back down, you're gone. And one of the most incredible cold endings to a movie.
Yeah.
Right. And then the scene before that where he just sits up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sitting
like
there, he's in the background.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Sits up
awesome,
like
dude.
the
One of the
Undertaker.
best scenes ever, dude.
They did a really great job.
Yeah.
Do your kids like this movie as much as you do?
So I've watched Halloween with my kids, and I'm like, all right, I think you can watch Halloween. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, so we put it on. I thought I had the edited for TV version, which I did not. You know what I mean? So we're like watching, and my wife's, you know, I was like, I thought this was edited for TV, you know, because right at the beginning, like you were talking about, you know what I mean? You got some, you got some boobs right at the beginning.
Whatever,
I'm like, well, I thought it was the edited for TV version or whatever, you know. But my younger son, he wasn't really too interested in it at this time, but my 11-year-old, he was cool with it. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, because I just tell him, you know, I'm like, I want to show you the horror movie that I was brought up on.
Yeah.
I was like we just watched Predator. I was like, because I'm gonna be honest with you, when I was your age, I watched Predator, so I think it's fine for you to watch Predator. You know what I mean? So we watched Predator. You know what I mean? It's just like he dug it, man. He was down with it. You know, so
they're into it just as much as you.
My 11-year-old is into it more than my younger son. My younger son's 6. You know what I mean? But I was just like, you can watch Halloween. I was like, I'll let you watch Halloween.
Yeah,
but that was, like I said, like
I was 6 when I watched it. You know what I mean? So
we were just always trying to score horror movies, man. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta watch this freaking horror movie, man. Like from our youngest days or whatever, you know. But so yeah, for my 11-year-old, he's really down with the stuff. Like he dug watching Predator and stuff or whatever, you know. And I'm like,
do they help you with props? Any?
They used to a little bit more in the beginning. They don't really now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't want to. For some reason, they wanted to be on camera more before. Now they don't really want to be on camera. You know what I mean? So. And
what about your wife? She into this too?
Yeah, she's really awesome and supportive, man. She's just like I was talking to her about you know, she's been in quite a few episodes and stuff, you know, and like I was talking to her about doing this one where it's like a Flip or Flop ripoff, and I'm like, so you got to be that Christina lady from Flip or Flop, you know what I mean? So I just need you to like just come in and, you know, just kind of be a character of her or whatever, you know. So, but yeah, she's super cool, man. She's really supportive about all the stuff or whatever, and then just puts up with my dumbass ideas, you know. So
no, it's awesome. No, seriously, it's awesome. You got to be able to have somebody beside you, your right hand woman, to be able to support you in the stuff that you want to do. Hannah's the same way with me, you know what I mean? So she's been she helps me film auditions. One of the auditions that I booked today, I'm filming a commercial tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks, man. It was her, like she did the camera stuff, she did all the setup, our backdrop, it was her. She did everything for me. Like it helps. Because I've been in places, you know, I don't know if you have, but I've been in relationships where it's like the other person doesn't believe in what you want to do or whatever the case may be. So I think it's huge. Seriously, it's big.
Yeah, I can believe it. Like I wasn't, you know, like I've been married for 12 years, you know what I mean? So I just gotten back into doing this stuff, you know what I mean? So before when I was doing it, I was, you know, I was freewheeling. I was single, man. So you don't know that, you know what I mean? You don't know. It's cool that somebody like, you know, is totally cool and supportive of it. And like I haven't been our office where I work shut down like a freaking year ago, dude. So I've been at home, and this is what I've been doing, man. I just been like coming up with videos and like do it. This what sucks now is it's like super cold and snowing out, and you know what I mean. So you're kind of like confined to doing smaller props until until I can bust open the garage and it's nice or whatever. So, but yeah, this is what I've been doing, man. So I've just taken this time to make some props inside, make these videos, and man, so
and it's dope.
Yeah.
The content you put out is dope.
Yeah.
I started fucking with you before I started like talking to you. So that was like, so that's awesome, man.
Yeah. What we like to do always though, at the end of like when we have guests on at all, is just we want to hear your top 5 horror movies. It can be horror, thriller. We want to hear your top 5, buddy.
And I think I've told you before, it doesn't have to be the most intellectual. Like I said, Friday the 13th Part 7 is his, and Terrifiers.
I'm still super fan.
And Terrifiers in mine. And it's like not intellectual at all. It's just gory. And what's fun to you, what you like, what you love. So
I was like, because when I always think of like top 5 or whatever, I'd say most influential on me. So the one that had the most influence on me. So that's how I would base my top 5. If it's movies of all time, the movie that made me want to make movies was Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's the movie that made me want to make movies. You know what I mean? But in the horror realm, I would have to start off with number 5 being Day of the Dead, only because of what I talked about earlier. We used to check that book, Zombies That Ate Pittsburgh. We checked the shit out of that at the library, man. And then that was our movie. We got to see this shit, man. The gut spill when the dude gets up, the zombie gets up out there. Just watching all that, looking in the book, and me and my boys were just like, we got to fucking score this movie, So then, like, finally, like, I think his mom rented it for us or whatever. We finally
that's
got
how Goosebumps was for me.
Yeah,
Goosebumps. It's like
and that's the thing. It's a feel, man. It's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the best movie ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So number 4, I would say From Dusk Till Dawn, because I loves me some Robert Rodriguez. I was really into Tarantino, and when that came out, dude, I remember when that came out. My friend, his brother worked at the movies, dude. So we always got to see that shit free. I swear to God, I saw that thing like 20 plus times at the movies. Dude, I love that fucking movie, dude.
That's amazing.
Like, I love Robert Rodriguez, man. I think he's an awesome fucking director, man.
What is some of the other stuff he's done?
Like he started out. If you watch or read his book is Rebel Without a Crew, which I have, and like his first movie was El Mariachi, which is awesome, and he shot it to be on like home video market in Mexico, and he shot it all in Spanish because he was like, I thought my actors, because they were just his friends, he thought his actors would be more convincing if it was in a different language. He's like, it just seems like everybody acts better when it's in a different language, So From Dusk Till Dawn for me was just awesome, dude. It was just like just a great movie to watch over and over and over again. So it was that would be my number. What is that? Number 4?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and then let's see. My number 3, I'd have to say, what would I have? I know. Well, if they're in no particular order, I know I got to get me in there. Evil Dead 2. Being from Michigan, fucking Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, dude. If I ever had the chance to like sit down with anybody and have a meal, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell would be my choice, man. Because they're just being from Michigan and watching, and I mean even. Some of Evil Dead, which it did get for its time, was really fucking gory and stuff. But some of the shit they had to do because they didn't have a budget, like the whole point of view shot with the dead spirit flying through, that they just had to come up with some shit. They put a camera on a board, dude, and just were like zooming.
Yeah.
So that's probably my number 2. Oh, my number 3 was Phantasm. Phantasm, like really, like it just inspired the shit out of me, man. Me and my friend in 7th grade, dude, we wrote a fucking spoof called Spamtasm because we were so into fucking Phantasm, dude. And like, they were like turning people into spam and shit.
Oh my God.
That sounds hilarious. You'll have to
I just used to watch the shit out of that movie, dude. So that's my number 3. Evil Dead 2 is my 2. And obviously number 1 is Halloween. So those are my personal top 5.
I love it, dude.
I love it. I love that you have Evil Dead 2 in there because, everyone loves Evil Dead 1.
Yeah.
And Evil Dead 2 gets a little more comical.
Yeah.
little like you obviously have the Deadites and all of them, but like they start playing with a lot of practical effects and makeup and too, and you have Bruce Campbell really coming into his own as Ash before.
That's the shit, right?
Darkness.
Yeah, no, that's the shit. Like Evil Dead 2, to me, is what Sam Raimi wanted Evil Dead to be. Because he's pretty much, I mean, it's like a remake up until the point where he starts getting to be that Ash character, and that's the one for me. Like that's Sam Raimi's style, and I think that's where like Sam Raimi, you know what I mean? Like from that point on, I mean that's a defining style for Sam Raimi. I mean, even when you watch the fucking Spider-Man movies, he's got that same style. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I love Sam Raimi's style. I love Peter Jackson's style, which Dead Alive. You know, if we were talking top 10, Dead Alive would be in top 10.
Yeah.
I love Robert Rodriguez. You know what I mean? And Carpenter, like if we kept expanding. And of course, if you do a top 10, I'd have to get in there with some Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. I mean, that was the one that kind of like did it for me for Freddy. You know, I was like,
so good.
Fucking sweet, dude. So
like you said, Freddy becomes like Freddy. Like he gets that funny, quirky personality in that one.
Yeah, up to that point, he wasn't really all that. You know what I mean? Now he's cracking jokes and killing people and prime time, bitch. Like,
man.
That's just awesome to me, dude.
I can't wait to see you actually do that project though. That's going to be sick with the TV and everything.
I've got a pretty good idea for this thing. So
is that your next? Awesome. Is that your next thing?
No, I think my next thing I'm going to do is like I'm going to step out of the '80s realm just to go with that 2018 prop from the 2018 Halloween where he carves the dude's head into a jack-o'-lantern.
Because it's in Terrifier.
Yeah, they did.
That,
yeah,
like, they tried to do like having that in the 2018 one. I was like, okay, like I saw that in the trailer or one of the clips that was before the movie came out, and I was like, okay, so Michael's on some shit in the 2018 one.
Yeah, dude, like totally unexpected when he stomps on his homeboy's head.
It's insane.
I remember my wife and I went to the movies to see it, and then when he did that, she was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
I was like, "Sweet."
So, how excited are you for Halloween Kills, bro?
I'm very excited, dude.
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to be better than the 2018.
I think so
version.
too.
I think they're going to do some shit in there, dude, that's not expected, like offing some people. But I'm very excited for it, dude.
They said it's going to have a huge kill count, like it's a mob mentality versus Michael Myers. Like it's going to be.
Nah. Before we let you go, bro, I want to ask, just because I'm curious. I know he doesn't talk to you about this, but I want to know how you feel about your Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff trade.
Oh, well, I'll tell you this much. I mean, I feel for Stafford, dude. He's a good dude. Like, for real. He's like a super good dude. Like, I mean, I'm not like know him personally or whatever, you know, but he never trash talked anybody. You know what I mean? He would take the blame. He put on his shoulders. You know, he was super cool around here in the community. So I got nothing but love for Stafford, man. You know what I mean? And it sucks for him. And if I'm him, I'm in the same spot, bro. I'm like, dude, I don't want to go through another fucking rebuild, dude. You know what I mean? And like,
you think the Rams are rebuilding?
No, we are rebuilding.
Oh,
Stafford didn't want to rebuild. And you know what I mean?
So, yeah. I see what you're saying.
So that's why, you know, Stafford's just like, that motherfucker played his ass off, dude. He played hurt and shit. He's a badass to me. And so I get it, dude. I get it that he didn't want to rebuild with, you know, new coach, new offense, another new offense he'd have to be in. Not that he's not going to be in a new offense there, but they're set up for a title. They got a good defense in LA.
He's so good, and that defense is incredible. I actually met him. He went to UGA. I met him one time in Atlanta. He was at like a Hudson Grill, which is a restaurant we have down here right next to my college. And me and my buddy walk in. My buddy's brother was from Detroit, so we saw him sitting there. He was pounding like a pitcher of beer, like drinking from the pitcher. So I took the picture of them two together because he wanted to send it to his brother. So he's just a dude. He's just a dude's dude, and just you want to see him do well. And so I hope he does well.
I do too. I like him. I like him a lot. So I'm glad. He went, and apparently Sean McVay is like some QB guru. So
right,
if he made Jared Goff
look,
I mean, Goff had that man. He took him to the Super Bowl. So I mean,
I feel bad for you because you're getting rid of somebody who's better. So now you get Jared Goff, and it's like, I know you wanted a certain head coach. Your head coach. His presser, by the way. What the fuck?
Yeah, our
Was
head
he-
coach.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, he's eating kneecaps and shit. I'll tell
I'm
you what
taking
though,
kneecaps.
I thought for sure because Dan Campbell seems like a Stafford guy. Those two seem like they would get along well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They seem
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the same. Like they're like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like just fucking headbutting and shit and tearing off people's legs.
Yeah.
But I get it, man. I get with Stafford. Dude, you're getting up there in your career. I mean,
Yeah.
how much of a beating can you take behind our shitty offensive line? And
He's not getting
I
any
think it's just
younger.
time to move on. It was best for both parties, but I will miss Matt Stafford, you know what I mean? So Jared Goff,
Well-
we'll see what he's got. I've seen some I saw a funny video of him pranking these high school kids. Like he came in as a transfer. It was fucking hilarious.
I remember that.
For Red Bull, wasn't it? Yeah, he came
and
in
he
as
had
a
like
transfer.
He had like a mullet looking thing. Yeah.
He had tattoos on his neck and stuff. But yeah,
I love
so
it.
we'll see. We'll see. I don't
I
plan
hope-
on getting. I mean, I'm
wish-
used to it by now. Fuck them, dude. They're never any good.
Oh. I only wish the best for you, especially
Yeah.
like I know, dude. I know.
Justin's a Jets fan, so it's rough.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
if you you get Salah, and then if Watson's
amazing.
like, dude, if you get like, say that actually happened where Watson's like, yo, I want to play for him,
yeah.
and Watson comes to the Jets, dude.
Yeah, I think we'd be in a decent position. I think we'd be a playoff team. I don't think we'd be a Super Bowl team if that were to happen.
Yeah,
But I just think that the Texans are playing a weird game of chess. They're refusing to trade him, and
They want more for him than what.
Dude,
like they want more than obviously Stafford got traded for a bunch. Like they're what the hell?
Yeah.
Is they doing?
well,
so
the Texans of the last 2 years, they make the Lions look fucking awesome. You make us look stellar, dude, because like
Yeah.
you're trading away DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
Right? I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you trading DeAndre Hopkins for fucking David Johnson, who had one good
Yeah.
season?
You let
You know what I mean?
Jadeveon Clowney go. Now
Yeah.
you get Bill O'Brien's dumbass. You know what I mean? Like, now JJ Watt's left.
Yeah.
And now Deshaun Watson wants to leave. Nobody wants to play for McNair.
No, and it's just like you thought maybe it would stop, the dumbass moves would stop after Bill O'Brien was gone, and they're still doing it, so whatever, that's fine.
Coming straight
ready
from the top.
I'm ready to be in last place. You know what I mean? We're the foundation for the NFC North. We always like to be on the bottom,
Yeah.
building people up.
Yep, get good draft picks out of it, man.
Yeah.
Right. We'll get another
Well,
great draft pick.
We have
the
like
worst,
28
the worst
draft picks, dude, over the next 2 years or some shit like that.
The worst draft ever. We passed Aaron Donald for who? Eric Ebron.
There you go.
That's
Not
awesome.
not a bad tight end, but you passed Aaron Donald.
Tight ends in the first round, man. Unless you're telling me they're golden, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I know like the top tight ends, like Darren Waller, he was a practice squatter. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
And Kelsey, I know Kelsey wasn't drafted in the first round, so
No.
I don't know.
think tight ends are like they don't come by in the first. And now Eric Ebron's like he's playing like shit. He didn't even play well this year, even with that team. He didn't play.
Yeah.
He didn't play as well as he should have.
No.
So, but man, I appreciate you coming on.
No, I thank
Thank you so
you very
much.
much for having me, dude. It's awesome, man.
Yeah. Thanks.
We want you to just have like a few seconds, minute, or whatever you want to take to just plug your content and just say what you got going on before we let you go, my man.
Okay, hey everybody out there, if you want to come check out mostly I go on Instagram most of the time at He's a Crafty One. You could find me there where we post dope ass videos of making awesome horror props and just all kinds of stupid shit, right? And then also if you have Roku or Amazon Fire, He's Crafty's also on the Suburban Screams network. So if you just go on
that's
there and
dope.
you can download the Suburban Screams channel, and you'll find all the He's Crafty episodes on there, as well as YouTube, wherever you'd like to view them. I don't really care. Just
Yeah.
view them. I'm telling you. We make mom jokes to Jason Voorhees, and then he fucks us up.
I absolutely love that. Again, man, I thank you so much. I look forward to speaking with you more and building our friendship. So
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. I appreciate it, guys. Guys, awesome show. I really dig your podcast, dude. I think it's awesome, man. And like the bracket stuff that you guys did, I think it's fucking sweet. And like I said, I've met a lot of people through you guys, you know what I mean? So I really appreciate it. And thanks for having me on, man.
thank you,
Yeah,
man.
thanks,
I
man.
appreciate it.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right,
Have a good
peace. I'll get you guys some Ghetto Blaster.
Yes.
Yeah, brother.
Good night.
Later.